Welcome to another edition of the Hard Count. I'm Mike Linemen, and I recently had the opportunity to interview Notre Dame Regional Secondary School's lineman Xavier Venkataya. Venkataya is a part of the 2021 class and currently stands at 6 foot 2 inches and 320 pounds. Venkataya plays both offensive and defensive line and has terrific blocking skills. The film will also show that Venkataya has good footwork and is quick off the ball. He can take on multiple linemen at once on defense. Venkataya is also the first player I've interviewed from outside the United States, as he currently plays in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. All right, everyone, here is Xavier Venkataya. Enjoy. So you're the first player I've actually interviewed that plays high school football outside the United States. How does your program kind of look in Canada? I understand you play with the same rules as the United States, correct?
Yeah, so we use the same rules, and the only thing really different is, well, where I live, our freshman year is in grade 8 instead of grade 9 because we don't have middle school. And we're the only province in Canada, or one of the only provinces that uses American rules. And yeah, for football, the only difference really is football doesn't play as much of a factor in the community, but there's a big community with all football players and coaches, and it's really rich.
Awesome, awesome. So you both play offensive and defensive linemen, and your film looks really, really good. What does your training regimen look like in a given week?
Well, COVID played a big factor in changing my training because I was doing 5 days a week. So the only thing I had to really change up was the way I worked out and the different materials. So I was using like water jugs. I filled those up and I was using those in the backyard doing squats and using like logs, anything I could just get my hand on to use weights. And then 2 days a week of doing running and form, just practicing my technique just to get ready for the season.
So this is a little bit off the record here, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about football culture where you're from. Is it a little bit different than the United States? How are kind of the games and things kind of worked out that way? Are there a lot of people that attend and stuff like that? Is there like a rich community, you said?
Yeah, so there's a lot of whenever I talk about rich community, I mean like there's a lot of veterans that come out to the games, and a lot of the coaches are really they really get committed to the team and the program and just football in general. They want to make us better and better people. There aren't really a lot of people that come out. Some teams get a lot of more players. I mean, parents and fans coming out, but usually during playoffs we play at BC Place, which is where our province's team or the CFL plays, and we play there, so we get a lot of more fans, and the whole stadium's kind of fills up.
Awesome, awesome. So what colleges are you kind of looking at? Are you looking in the United States, and have you had any contact with any coaches?
Yeah, so really America's the dream, and I'm just trying to get there. But I have been talking to a lot of Canadian schools. I mean, because I'd love to stay home. That'd be great. See, I've been in contact with Queen's University, Simon Fraser University, which is the only NCAA school in Canada, York University, and St. Mary's University. But I have talked to a couple American schools, Fairleigh Dickinson, and Ohio Northern University and Clark University.
So let's say that school is going to take you, and you want to be kind of they want you to kind of go with them. What's the first thing you want them to know about you as a football player?
I'd like them to know how I can play any position on the O line or defensive line if they needed me to. I mean, I want to do anything I can do to help the team, and I have experience at every position on the offensive line, so I can play anywhere they need me to. And I feel like that's one of my biggest strengths, my versatility.
So quick question here about recruiting. Is it just the difference between the United States and Canada involving that? Is it kind of the same kind of rules involving recruiting, or is there a different way that coaches kind of contact you or go about contacting you and stuff like that? Is there any differences? Do you know?
Yeah, so the contacting is basically the same. But in Canadian schools, except from Simon Fraser because they're NCAA, you don't need SATs. They just need your GPA and what your transcripts. They don't need any test scoring.
Okay, very, very cool. So how have your parents kind of influenced you as a football player?
So yeah, my parents they've been a really big influence. I've been surrounded from by football since I was just a little kid, and they signed me up when I was 6. And as soon as I got on the field, I realized like that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And they just been pushing me, never told me to stop working, bettering myself because no one's perfect, and there's always gonna be someone better than me. So I just want to keep getting better and better every day.
Awesome, awesome. Do you have any role models? Do you know?
Yeah, so I'm a big Raiders fan. So ever since I was a little kid, I've loved watching Rodney Hudson, the center, and we're about the same size. He's 6'2", 315, I think. So I really base my play off of him and try to play like him because he's my inspiration really.
So you're a very big guy. Going off of that, you're 6'2" and 320 pounds. How did you develop within your high school program from freshman year up until your senior year this year?
Yeah, so like I said, grade 8 is our freshman year, and I had an amazing coach, Coach Howie, and he's really been sticking with me ever since. And he saw like the talent that I had in grade 8, and he's really been working with me. So in grade 9 we have spring camp, and I remember first practice the varsity team was kind of struggling a bit, so he brought me over to the varsity side of the field, and we had a new coach that year, Coach Dennis Kelly. He's kind of and he's in the BC Hall of Fame for coaching, and he was like, you should put him in just to see if he can do something. And I remember the first play I go in and I blocked the nose tackle for 10 yards. And ever since then, I've been starting on the varsity O-line, and I haven't stopped. And I'm on track to be the first ever 4-year varsity starter in Notre Dame history.
Very, very, very cool. That's awesome. That's awesome, Xavier. So going off of that, tell me about the best game that you've played, the best kind of experience in a game that you've had. What would you say?
I would say probably just this season we had a quarterfinals game against South Delta Sun Devils, and they're ranked in the top 5 best schools in Canada. And everyone thought we were going to lose going in, besides our own team. And then we went into the game and basically shocked the whole province by beating them 28-15. So I'd say that's one of my best games being a part of, and one of the best games I played because I made a lot of audible calls on the line, which led to long runs and better blocking. And I had about 4 tackles on the defensive side.
Very, very cool. And then one kind of final interesting question here for you. I usually ask people, kind of what NFL team they would want to get drafted by. But since you're from Canada, I don't know if you have the same aspiration to play in the NFL or CFL. So we'll kind of go into that in kind of a two-thing kind of question here. Do you want to play in the NFL or CFL, or is there kind of specific professional league that you aspire to play in, would you say? Kind of you're going off of your dreams as a football player?
Yeah, so the dream has always been the NFL. I'd love to get drafted by the Raiders. It's been my favorite team since I was about 3 years old. I remember taking baby pictures with just jerseys on and having Raiders gear ever since. So that's really the dream. And I would love, it'd still be a dream to stay in Canada to play because, I'd be repping my province and my family. And it's still a great community to play in CFL.
All right, Xavier, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening. That was Xavier Venkataya out of Notre Dame Regional Secondary School in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. If you'd like to contact Xavier, his Twitter account is @xvenkataya, and I'll be sure to put his huddle link below as well. If you'd like to contact me, my Twitter account is @ImamiMichael, and my YouTube channel is The Hard Count with Michael Imami. It'd mean a ton if you guys subscribed. My brand new Instagram is The Hard Count with Michael Imami, if you want to go ahead and follow that and check that out. My Facebook page is The Hard Count with Michael Imami, in case you or your parents want to check that out as well. Thanks so much to Xavier for coming on, and thanks so much for being a part of the podcast. First player I've interviewed outside the United States. And thanks so much, everybody, for listening. This has been The Hard Count. Do you have what it takes to go D1?